On Thursday, U.S. President Donald Trump signed a landmark executive order that significantly reduces tariffs on Japanese automobile imports, cutting them from 27.5% to 15%. This move brings much-needed relief and clarity to major Japanese automakers such as Toyota, Honda, and Nissan, which had faced considerable uncertainty amid the escalating trade tensions between the two nations. Welcome viewers to my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe, like my video and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next update. The executive order formalizes an agreement that was initially announced in July, stipulating that a 15% tariff will apply to nearly all Japanese exports entering the United States. This includes not only vehicles but also pharmaceutical products, among other key goods. The deal marks a major step in stabilizing trade relations between the two economic powerhouses and addresses concerns that businesses in both countries have raised over potential market disruptions. As part of the broader agreement, Japan has pledged to make substantial investments in the United States, totaling $550 billion, £410 billion, while gradually opening its domestic market to American products. This includes a wider acceptance of U.S.-manufactured cars and even agricultural products like rice, which Japan has historically protected to safeguard its domestic farming sector, according to statements released by the White House. The negotiations leading up to this deal were intense and prolonged. They came in the aftermath of President Trump's sweeping announcement in April that he intended to impose tariffs on a wide array of imports from countries around the world, a move that rattled global markets. Japan, as one of America's largest trading partners, became a focal point in these discussions. Expressing relief at the conclusion of the deal, Japan's chief trade negotiator, Ryosei Akazawa, posted a brief but telling comment in Japanese, writing, "Finally," alongside a White House statement detailing the executive order. His reaction highlighted the long months of careful diplomacy and negotiation that went into securing the agreement. According to the executive order, the deal is expected to play a dual role, helping to reduce America's trade deficit with Japan while simultaneously providing significant, breakthrough openings for U.S. businesses. The White House emphasized that Tokyo has committed to purchasing $8 billion worth of American goods annually, including agricultural products, fertilizers, and bioethanol, signaling a concrete benefit for U.S. industries. A particularly notable component of the agreement involves rice, a product Japan had previously resisted importing in larger quantities due to domestic protections for its farmers. Under the new arrangement, Japan has agreed to gradually increase its purchases of U.S.-grown rice by 75%, representing a significant concession and a clear win for American agricultural exporters. When the deal was first announced in July, President Trump described it as massive and stressed that it would benefit all parties involved. "It's a great deal for everybody. I always say it has to be great for everybody. It's a great deal," he stated during a press conference, emphasizing his administration's commitment to balancing trade relationships in a way that benefits U.S. businesses and workers. Japan's economy is heavily reliant on exports, with the United States serving as its largest market. Automobiles, in particular, are a cornerstone of Japan's export strategy, accounting for roughly 20% of the country's total exports. The tariffs imposed by the U.S. in August had created a wave of concern across global markets, as companies scrambled to assess and mitigate potential financial impacts. The effect of the tariffs was immediate. Toyota, one of Japan's automotive giants, warned last month that the newly imposed duties could cost the company around $10 billion in 2025 alone. The reduction in tariffs under the executive order is therefore seen as a major relief for manufacturers, suppliers, and the broader Japanese economy. Following the signing of the executive order, shares of Japanese automakers and parts suppliers experienced a notable increase in Tokyo, reflecting investor optimism about the improved trade climate and the potential for greater stability in U.S.-Japan commercial relations. Analysts suggest that this development could mark the beginning of a new phase of closer economic cooperation between the two countries, particularly in sectors such as automotive manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, and agriculture. Overall, the agreement represents a significant milestone in U.S.-Japan trade relations. By easing tariffs, securing large-scale investments, and opening new market opportunities, both nations are taking steps toward a more balanced and mutually beneficial economic partnership. For Japanese automakers and American exporters alike, the deal provides a clearer path forward amid the ongoing uncertainties of global trade dynamics. In exchange for tariff reductions, Japan has committed to invest $550 billion in the United States across multiple sectors. These investments are expected to include energy infrastructure, semiconductor manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, logistics, and defense-related industries. This commitment is significant not only for its monetary scale but also because it represents a strategic shift. Japanese capital will increasingly flow into sectors the U.S. considers vital for economic security. Analysts predict that this influx of investment could create hundreds of thousands of jobs and stimulate regional economies across the U.S., particularly in states with major manufacturing bases. Japan has traditionally maintained high protection for its agricultural sector, especially rice. Under the new agreement, Japan has agreed to gradually increase its purchases of U.S.-grown rice by 75%, a concession previously resisted to protect domestic farmers. In addition, Japan will purchase $8 billion worth of U.S. goods annually, including corn, soybeans, fertilizers, bioethanol, and sustainable aviation fuel. This increased access for American agricultural exports represents a significant economic win for U.S. farmers, especially those in the Midwest, who have long struggled with fluctuating global demand and competitive pricing pressures. Japanese automakers, including Toyota, Honda, and Nissan, are expected to benefit most directly. Last month, Toyota had warned that U.S. tariffs could cost the company around $10 billion in 2025 alone. Reducing tariffs to 15% alleviates much of this financial burden and helps stabilize production planning, supply chain logistics, and pricing strategies for vehicles exported to the U.S. Additionally, parts suppliers and related industries will see secondary benefits. For example, companies providing auto electronics, chassis components, and hybrid vehicle batteries are expected to enjoy more predictable revenue streams due to improved market access. The agreement also reduces barriers for Japanese pharmaceuticals entering the U.S. market. This could lead to increased availability of specialty medications and generics, potentially impacting drug pricing and healthcare outcomes. It also opens opportunities for U.S. biotech firms to collaborate with Japanese companies on joint research and development initiatives. For American farmers, the agreement offers new market opportunities. The commitment by Japan to increase rice purchases, along with continued procurement of corn, soybeans, and bioethanol, helps diversify export channels and reduce reliance on single markets. This, in turn, strengthens the resilience of the U.S. agricultural sector in the face of global market volatility. The agreement comes amid significant political developments in Japan. Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba's recent resignation following election setbacks has created questions about Japan's domestic economic policies. Despite this uncertainty, Japan's commitment to honoring trade agreements with the U.S. underscores the importance of maintaining stable relations with its largest export market. In the U.S., President Trump has positioned the deal as a cornerstone of his trade strategy. By reducing tariffs while securing significant investments and market access, Trump frames the agreement as a win-win for American businesses, farmers, and workers, a message consistent with his broader economic